I am 𝓑𝓼𝓾𝓽𝓪 and I am collaborating with black metal artists. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, Imprecation of Love. I'm based in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And yeah,
Thank you. That was my first question. Your music explores polarizing themes like love and terrorism. How do you reconcile or juxtapose these ideas within your creative process?
well, I use these themes to show my perspective of life. Like, this world is so cold with society, wars, and plagues, like terrorizing the lives of so many people. So, like, life is very miserable to live, but also is very beautiful, you know what I mean? Like, you can find love in everything, whether it be like in a person, a lifestyle, hobbies, a religion, just anything like that. But even though like sadness and anger is inevitable, you can always find peace in your life with love. And that's where I really get my themes from.
I like that. Thank you. Both Closer to the Light and My Poems Burned Away came out in the same year. What different narratives or emotions do these albums convey?
Um, the narrative of Closer to the Light is about how people are killing themselves, either with with pride and greed or like anger and depression. And like slowly but surely, so many people fall into like a deep depression and a constant state of anger and stress, you know what I mean? And so I made this album with really aggressive atmospheric riffs, really fast blast beats, and eerie but meaningful vocals to show the truth, the harsh truth of this reality, the emotions um that many people feel, you know what I mean? And then the second album, uh My Poems Burned Away, mostly expresses my emotions and in a less aggressive way, I could say. Like I have very complicated emotions, you know? Like I mostly expressing my emotions in a less aggressive way. It's like with music, you know what I mean? Like without having to hurt people, hurt myself, and all of that stuff. I really express in like more of a poetic and musical form, you know?
Yes,
So
that's a
yeah,
good way to do it. A lot of people do that, and it's very beneficial for them, and they're able to make great music out of it.
most definitely. I feel like music comes from the soul, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
music, it really is like it's hard because you can always tell when someone's faking something to look cool, and then when someone's really feeling that and really expressing it, you know what I mean?
Yes, and music brings people together, so
Yep,
that's a good thing.
most definitely.
Okay, for my next question, what drew you to the raw black metal subgenre, and how do you see it evolving within your sound?
What really drew me to the raw black metal genre is the raw emotion behind it. I really like when music expresses real emotions, like we were just talking about, instead of telling like fake stories and fake feelings, to fit in and stuff. I also like the lo-fi quality. The quality of raw black metal really reminds me of like, how should I say it, like a really old cassette tape, you know?
Yeah,
And I love like the screeching vocals, the heavily distorted guitars, the bass and the drums. It's like it's really like pleasure to my ears, you know what I mean?
yeah, I do. Your themes range from beauty to hatred and darkness. Can you share the poetic or philosophical influences behind your lyrics?
The influences behind my lyrics are about how I feel, what I think, and my overall perspective of things and what I see in my day-to-day life. I express my lyrics in a poetic like form, like through metaphors and whatnot, to make my lyrics more captivating and to give a more extreme idea of how I feel and what I write.
Thank you. How do the album's titles and imagery of Drowning in My Misery and The Ghost of Loneliness tie into the overall identity of the band?
The title and imagery really tie down to who I am as a person and the emotions I feel. They express my inner thoughts and how like I feel through metaphor. Like the ghost of loneliness, for example, it's not a literal like ghost of loneliness. It means I feel unrecognized, unheard, and unloved. And for that reason, I feel alone, you know?
Yeah.
So, like the imagery of these titles show a kind of visual idea of what the album means and stuff like that. I try to show like, for example, on Drowning in My Misery, for example, it's like a grim reaper staring at like dead skeletons, thinking to himself that this is gonna end up like him one day. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's really like really shows how I feel and what I think, you know.
Being unsigned, what challenges and freedoms have you encountered in producing and distributing your music?
I haven't really found any challenges other than like from the beginning looking for like distributors and stuff like that. It's really more like how should I say it? The like the challenges are really more in like distributing merch rather than music. Like once I get a bigger fan base and stuff like that, I'd have to like not have to, but I'd want to like give out shirts and stuff like that. And being unsigned, doing that on my own is gonna be a lot of money out of my pocket, you know what I mean? But it's mostly free. Like it feels very free. Like you get to like post any music you want and stuff without like a label ch like changing it and stuff, you know what I mean?
They're telling
Because
you what
like
to do, right?
yeah, not telling you what to do, not telling you like this is the deadline. You have your own free will to like make anything happen with your music, whether it be you can release in next year, you could release in a few days, you know? Like it's not on their timing, it's on your timing.
Yeah, they have pros and cons, but I think everybody just wants to have control of their music, and it's always
Most
better
definitely.
that way.
Yes.
How has the music scene in Milwaukee influenced your development as a band, and do you draw inspiration from the local environment?
Milwaukee music scene hasn't really influenced me. It's more of like the music is good, but it's mostly hardcore music. And where I live, it's mostly like low end music. So it doesn't really like I have no influences from them, but I do have some inspiration from a band called Conjures of the Moon. Um, Even though I have no like musical inspiration from them, like I don't take any musical inspiration, they inspire me to keep like going on. They motivate me to keep doing my music because their determination is really eye-catching for me. But my inspiration from the local environment, uh, assuming that is the environment I live around, right?
Yes.
Um, it's mostly how like gray my city is, how sad it is. Like within the past month, like a month last year, not too long ago, like 3 months, a lot of kids died from gang violence and stuff. And most of the time, even though I see it on TV and news and stuff, I usually see that stuff happening in like in real time too. Like when I'm driving around and I see homeless people begging for money, or like I see like so many wrong things going on around me, you know? And that really inspires my music too, because like what I see is what I take in, you know what I mean?
What role does personal experience play in shaping the raw emotion embedded in your tracks?
Personal experience, I would say like when I was in my early childhood, I had a pretty tough childhood with like my mom. She was like how to say it, mentally manipulating me. Like she was manipulating me, mentally abusing me because she was depressed. Like I understood why she was doing it, but it wasn't the right thing to do. Then like some stuff with her and my stepdad and just like a whole bunch of like shit went on in my early childhood. And that's really what like the screaming, the aggressiveness in my tracks, and like everything in my music comes from my past, you know? Like even though my topics are about love and how the world is going on, the intensity of my music is from my past and from how I feel currently too, because there's still stuff going on in my life. I've been homeless before. I've been what is it called? I've argued with my mom. I had fought with my family before. And it's just like a whole bunch of shit that I really take in and I really use it to make art with my music, you know, make musical art with that.
The good thing is that you're using it for a positive thing and you're not using your past trauma into something negative that will affect you, you know? So that's
Most
good.
definitely.
With the prolific start in 2024, what kind of legacy do you hope Imprecation of Love will leave in the black metal scene?
A legacy, I hope, Implication of Love leaves would be like hope, I guess, like a sign of you can listen to this and without having to release your anger on people, on your, whether it be your little brother, or it be like a friend, or just some kids at school, or like at your job. Like I would use my music for them to find hope in themselves and keep going, you know? Like they can express their anger and sadness here and keep moving on in this world and keep fighting, you know?
Yes. Was that it for your response?
Yes.
Okay, so for my final question, do you see your music as a catharsis, a message to listeners, or something entirely different?
I would say I'd say it's a catharsis and a message to my listeners. Cause like at the end of the day, when I first started this project, I started it for me, for my emotions and for my to express myself, you know? I didn't expect listeners and I didn't really at first I wasn't even going to release my music. I was going to keep it to myself, you know, as a way of coping. But when I started to see like people actually like relating to my music and I started to see like people like using my music as like a sign of help and hope for them. I started to release more and more music. And also I thought my music sounded cool and I wanted to show people too, so that's why. But yeah, a message in my music that really what is it called? Want to give to listeners is like really like you got this, you know? Like don't kill yourself if you're suicidal. If you have thoughts of like killing people, don't do that either, you know? Like it's just how do I say it? It's like
There's more to life.
yeah, there's more to life and don't let yourself go down that path you don't want to go down to, you know?
It was yeah, later a lot of people just they can't no more, so they just end it all, and then and it ends up I can't even say it. It hurts other people, you know?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that it for your response? Or do you
Yeah,
have
that
more?
does it.
Okay, thank you so much for doing this with me.